Hi, and welcome to another Herb by God. I was getting all the books out that I wanted today. Yeah, so we're up to number 12. So we're making progress. It's slow, but we're getting there. But that's what herbalism is. You don't learn it overnight. It's something you learn over time, right? And hopefully, I've got my laptop up and running again. Put a new battery in it, and it seems to be doing the trick. I do think it has a few bugs in it, so try to get those straightened out, and I can get back to doing what I want with it. And being a hot time of year, I'll probably be spending a lot of time inside. Ew. I'd rather be outside, but when it's so hot, you know. So we are on the hanged one, as she calls it. Today it's also known as burdock. Octum lapa. Oh, I can't wait to talk about this one. Okay, and this is from the book, The Herb Crafted Tarot. I read that first. If you haven't listened to this before, this is what I do. I read from the Herb Crafter's Tarot, and then I talk about the herb and its medical uses, and sometimes I go into the lore too. So that's what we're doing here, because I want to make sure I'm reading from this book, because I want to make sure I honor the creators of this deck. And it was written by Latasha Guthrie, and the artwork is by Joanna Powell Colbert. And we appreciate all the hard work they put into this. So, the hanged one, burdock, Octum lapa. Embrace a foe as a friend. Tap into nourishment found in the depths. Let go of control. Lasting change takes time. A cup of tea placed over a large burdock leaf reflects the naked tree outside the window. A large clean root rests on the table, the tendrils forming the shape of a hanged one. Lays crossed like the numeral 4. Burdock root runes spill out from their blue velvet bag toward a lit beeswax candle. Challenge presents an opportunity for growth. Though burdock is a tenacious weed, it can also be a valuable plant. The presence of burdock may indicate where the land is lacking nutrients. Maybe. Using the large leaves as mulch can bring nourishment to the surface. When the leaves break down, the soil will improve and burdock will no longer have the conditions to thrive. Flip the script on a difficult situation. See the problem as the solution. Burdock is also a valuable ally for the liver as it helps clear and release toxins. But healing the land or body requires a long-term commitment. Surrender to the process. Deep change takes time. Crafting with the hanged one. Invite burdock to shift your perspective. Sit with it in the wild. Harvest it, cook with it. Tap into it wisdom from the depths by crafting burdock runes for divination. Enjoy a slow cup of burdock tea. As you sip, silently release all that is keeping you stuck. So, burdock. So the first time I was introduced to burdock really was when I was a child. And we would walk through the fields and it would stick to our clothing. And then later, we would find it in the horses' tails and in their manes. It would really tangle up and really get tight, and it was so hard to remove. And the story goes that Velcro was created by a New Hampshire person. And they noticed how the burdock would interlock together. and that was a basis for Velcro. So we kind of have Burdock to thank for Velcro. Interesting fact. So burdock is really a great ally to have. It is similar in many ways to dandelion root, but it actually has more inulin than dandelion. And inulin is very important for our blood. So there's a term that's often used in herbalism called a blood purifier, but actually that's a misnomer. The more that it's not really a purifier, it's more of a tonic. It tonifies. So that means it strengthens. The inulin is strengthening because of the minerals, the inulin, and the vitamins that it has in it. So anytime like that, it is very strengthening. That's what it does. So it really tonifies. It builds it up. It makes it function more, or makes it function at an optimal level. A lot of us are not functioning at full capacity. We are not functioning at our best because of the way our society is set up and not treating food as medicine or as healing and using. The Japanese, and I have done this myself, include burdock root in soups. And it actually adds a really nice, I guess I would call it earthy, pungent flavor to the soup. I mean, if you don't use burdock, you can tell the difference. Like if you make a soup with burdock and then you make a soup without burdock, you can certainly tell the difference. I'll have to get back to making soups because it's really good. You only harvest the root in the second year because that's only really, and it's I believe it's biannual. It has many properties. It's a good alternative, which is another word, really term that means it's good for strengthening, building up your blood system. So I thought we'd go to a little different book today, because I always like to read to you from one of my herb books, and today's book is Culpeper's Color Herbal. And basically Culpeper is somebody you might want to get to know a little bit. He was kind of, I think what he did was he was an English, yes, here it is in the back, so it'll help me without, okay. For over 350 years, Nicholas Culpeper has been the book to turn to for anyone interested in herbaling and using herbs. This beautifully illustrated edition combines the charm of elegance and information of his original 17th century text with up-to-date modern practical usage. It includes details about where each herb can be found, its flowering time, and astrology and medical benefits. So he was a 17th century herbalist, or not necessarily herbalist, but one of the founders of, I guess you could call modern medicine. He started writing down the folk wisdom. You know, it was already written down by the Chinese in India long before it was ever written down in English. But these practices of cottage herbalism had been used for millennium. Even other peoples of England and Europe, we were tribal. Part of the outing of herbalists came with the medical institutions who took that over. That's a whole background I can get into. but I won't get into it here. But so he's kind of like the one that started writing this down in English. Like I said, the Chinese had books, and the India peoples had it in the Vedas. I think the Vedas were probably one of the oldest texts that had anything written about herbalism. So, here's a picture of burdock. And this is Culpeper's Color Herbal. So this is really good all-around book. So it's greater. And so this is what he wrote. By its leaf or seed you may draw the womb which way you please, either upward by applying it to the crown of the head in case it falls out. He's talking about pregnancy. Or downwards in fits of the mother, by applying it to the soles of the feet. Or you would stay it in place, applied to the navel, and that is one good way to stay the child in it. So in other words, to keep the child within the womb, like prematurely, perhaps the mother is going into labor, so they would use the burdock and leaves in that way to help keep her from going into labor too early. A biennial, it grows to more than 3 feet, is well known to little boys who pull off the clean seed vessels to throw at one another. We did that too when we were kids. It is also called personata, happy major, and clotbur. Common by ditches, waysides, and highways. Flowering time early to midsummer. Astrology. Venus challenges this herb for her own. Medical virtues. The leaves are cooling and moderately drying and can be applied to old ulcers and sores, and also to places troubled with the shrinking in of the sinews or arteries. I love their wording. The root beaten with a little salt and laid on a place bitten by a snake will suddenly easeth the pain. The juice of the leaves drunk with honey promotes the flow of urine and eases pain in the bladder. The seed maturated in wine for 40 days provides a wonderful, helpful medicine for sciatica. That was what Culpeper wrote. Modern uses. Burdock is one of the finest blood purifiers in the herbal systems of medicine. It is classified as an alternative, diuretic, and diaphoretic. These properties make it of value in treatment of boils, acne, and eczema. It helps the kidneys to filter out impurities from the blood very quickly. The root is mainly used and administered as a decoction in doses of 2 fluid ounces 3 or 4 times a day. The seed used alone as a decoction has similar properties, but are practically tonic to the kidneys. A homeopathic medicine from Actum Lapa is also available. So it is made with homeopathy is known for. I also wanted to read, because I love what she has to say. I just love Rosemary Gladstar. She reminds me very much of my grandmother. Very short in stature, except she has really long, flowing, gorgeous hair. Or she did when I met her. Her and Juliet Debaque Levy. Okay, so I want to read to you what she writes about burdock, because she really nails it on the head. And this is really one of the best herbals you can get to start out with. I think this is a really good beginner's book. This is Rosemary Gladstar, A Family Herbal. This is really a good beginner's book. But she has all kinds of stuff in it. So she gives you a lot of information. Primary roots and seeds, but leaves can be used externally. Burdock is truly a superior tonic herb, and is used as both a preventative and a medical plant. Burdock is rich in iron, magnesium, manganese, silicon, and thiamine, as well as a host of other vitamins and minerals. This is one of the best virtues of burdock. is simply the best herb for skin and can be used internally and externally for eczema, psoriasis, acne, and other skin-related imbalances. It is specific for the liver, and because of its pleasant flavor, is often formulated with other less tasty liver herbs. Now, Culpeper stated kidneys, and then here she's stating liver. Well, those two have a very symbiotic relationship, so they work well together. Our body all works as a whole, but there are certain organs that have affinities that really work well together. Something that benefits the liver is also going to benefit the kidneys. Something that benefits the kidneys is also going to benefit the liver. They both work as a filtration system. They're part of that. They work with the blood and they work with urine. So that and excretion. So that's why they're very symbiotic and work together, and that's why they're so important. Cooling and alkalizing burdock is used for treating stagnant conditions of the blood and an excellent blood purifier or alternative, which I talked about. It promotes healthy kidney function and expels uric acid from the body, so it's helpful for gout and rheumatoid arthritis or rheumatism. So that's what rheumatism is what part of it's a whole big thing, but part of it is a buildup of uric acid, and that's why massage is so good, because that can help break that stagnant energy, and then drink some burdock tea after you have a massage, and that will work wonders. Okay, so fresh young burdock roots can be used like, okay, the rest of it I talked about, the Japanese and stuff. So all in all, burdock is a wonderful, wonderful ally. It's on my, okay, I put this on my top 10 list. Nettles is my number one. Burdock and dandelion are right up there. There's some of my top herbals. They're wonderful. Burdock reaches down deep in the earth to dig out to really search for the minerals and vitamins. So it's a good herb for the environment too. Well, all herbs are good for the environment, but it has, because of the deep rooting, it's really good for that too. So with that, please like and subscribe if you made it all the way through this video. Give it a thumbs up, please. That helps. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you're thinking. I'd like to know that I'm having feedback and that people are enjoying the videos, because I want to know it's worth my while to make them. You can always make them, if you like my videos, you can always make a donation to my PayPal. Check out my website. My Patreon is on hold for a while. Might get back to it if my computer is truly back working. That's been one of the big issues. So remember, many blessings, and tap into that wild side.